Imagine for a moment that you're waking up before dawn. The horizon is dark and the world seems calm, almost asleep. Slowly, the sunlight begins to seep through, revealing mountains, trees, and the sky that had been hidden by the darkness. This is the awakening of consciousness, the moment when we realize that the world we see around us is only a part of a greater and deeper reality. Just as the light illuminates the landscape, our thoughts and beliefs illuminate our inner reality, shaping how we live, feel, and experience the world. Life, my friends, is so much more than what our eyes can perceive. Every thought you have, every belief you carry in your heart, is constantly shaping your reality. But the question is, are you aware of the immense power you hold in your hands? Are you awake to the creative force that resides in your mind? Because the universe, that same vast and seemingly unfathomable universe, reflects back to you what is in your mind and spirit. When you realize this, a new world of possibilities opens up. The human mind is a true portal, not just a physical organ but a bridge between what we feel and the reality we live. Ancient philosophies, such as Buddhism and Stoicism, have long taught us that the mind is the creator of all experience. What we believe, think, and cultivate internally shapes every aspect of our existence. The external reality is merely a reflection of what happens within us. Think about it. If your thoughts are seeds, what kind of garden are you cultivating? Many times, we are trapped in cycles of negative thinking, as if we were in a constant storm. This creates a veil, something that distorts our perception of reality. In Hinduism, this concept is described as the veil of Maya, an illusion that prevents us from seeing the truth. And this illusion is fed by the beliefs we cultivate, whether consciously or unconsciously. When we believe we are limited, that the world is a place of scarcity, or that we are unworthy of love or success, these beliefs act like distorted lenses. They obscure the light within us, preventing us from accessing our true potential. The mind, connected to the spirit, is the creative force, but often we don't realize that we are trapped in patterns of our own making. But here's the truth. Just as the sun disperses shadows, you can lift the veil of limiting beliefs. By bringing awareness to your thoughts, you begin to realize how powerful they really are. Your mind is not a passive reflection of circumstances. It is the origin of everything you experience, and you have the power to reprogram it. Imagine yourself as a sculptor, shaping your reality with every thought and belief. Modern science is beginning to prove what spiritual traditions have known for millennia. Our thoughts and beliefs not only affect our perception but also our physical body. A fascinating field called epigenetics shows us that the environment we live in, including the environment of our thoughts, directly influences the expression of our genes. In other words, we are not prisoners of an unchangeable genetic heritage. Our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are like messages sent to our cells, telling them how to function. Think of it as a genetic garden, where beliefs are the climate that influences the seeds, the genes. If the climate is dark, with constant storms of doubts and fears, some seeds will never sprout. But when we cultivate healthy, optimistic beliefs, a new set of possibilities blossoms. Just as the body responds to the external environment, the spirit responds to the internal environment, to the thoughts you nurture every day. If your thoughts can influence even the behavior of your cells, imagine the impact they have on your life as a whole. From this perspective, reprogramming your thoughts is more than a psychological transformation. It's a revolution at the cellular level. Science and spirituality converge at this point. Just as we can reprogram our genes, we can reprogram our essence by transforming the limiting beliefs that accompany us. Now, I ask you a profound question. What beliefs are guiding your life right now? Are these beliefs the seeds of your evolution, or are they the shackles keeping you tied to a limited version of who you can be? What you deeply believe shapes everything, and the time to plant new beliefs, new ideas, is now. When we talk about the mind, we often think of something individual, isolated. But in reality, we are all connected by an invisible network of thoughts and energies. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious, an idea that also echoes through various Eastern spiritual traditions. We don't live in a vacuum. Our beliefs and thoughts are shaped by the environment around us, by the stories we hear, and by the people we live with. The collective mind is a powerful force that subtly influences how we see the world and ourselves. But here's the key. Just as we are influenced by the collective mind, we are also co-creators of it. Your beliefs and attitudes affect the energetic field around you, just as the vibration of a single stone can create ripples in a lake. If you are surrounded by negative thoughts, toxic environments, or destructive behavior patterns, this inevitably shapes your personal beliefs. Without realizing it, we begin to absorb these energies and carry them into our own lives. However, spirituality teaches us that we are more than a reflection of our environment. Yes, our personal beliefs are influenced by the collective, but we have the power to break these cycles and create new realities. In every moment, we have the choice to leave behind limiting influences and seek higher, more inspiring connections. This may mean stepping out of toxic environments or even redefining the relationships we maintain. When we change our environment, we change the energy that surrounds us, and this directly transforms what we believe is possible. A practical example of this is the idea of surrounding yourself with people who elevate your energy. If you connect with individuals who are also focused on growth, on awakening consciousness, and who share the vision of a positive and abundant world, this creates a feedback loop. These connections transform not only the individual mind but the collective mind around you. You are not bound by the limitations of the collective mind you were born into. The power to change your reality lies within you, and part of that process is consciously choosing the influences that allow your true essence to flourish. Imagine for a moment a great cathedral, a majestic temple, not made of stone but built by the mind. This temple is the space of visualization, a practice that transcends cultures, religions, and philosophies. Since ancient times, people around the world have recognized the power of visualizing what they desire to create. Shamans in indigenous traditions, sages in the East, and meditation masters in the West used, and still use, this tool as a portal to transform thoughts into reality. Visualization is not just a mental practice. It is a deep spiritual process that involves aligning the mind, body, and spirit. Before any great creation materializes in the physical world, it already exists in the invisible world of the mind. Think of the Gothic cathedrals, the pyramids, the great works of art and inventions that changed the course of humanity. Each of them began as a vision. When we visualize something, we are connecting to a spiritual dimension where everything is already manifested. And what is visualized with focus, clarity, and intention will, sooner or later, begin to move toward the physical plane. What you may not realize is that you are already using visualization daily, perhaps unconsciously. Every time you worry, create negative scenarios, or project fears into the future, you are visualizing. And those visualizations also create realities. But imagine what would be possible if you reprogram this power for something positive and intentional. When you begin to practice conscious visualization, what you are doing is planting seeds in an invisible garden, waiting for them to bloom at the right time. Spiritual rituals throughout history, such as shamanism, yoga practice, and even guided meditations, have used visualization as a tool for creating internal and external changes. A practical example would be visualization during meditation. You can close your eyes and imagine your dream life, what it would look like, how it would feel. The mind does not distinguish between the real and the imagined. The more vivid the image you create, the more aligned your energy will be to attract that reality. Visualizing what you desire is like opening a map and plotting the route to your destination. It is an act of faith. It's like shooting an arrow into the wind, knowing that at the right moment, it will find its target. So, what are you visualizing now? What life, what reality, what transformation do you want to see manifest in your world? The key to this creation is within your reach. Just as visualization shapes mental and spiritual images of what we want to create, affirmations are the words that build that reality. Words are powerful. Since ancient times, they have been used as tools of spiritual transformation. In the East, sacred mantras were chanted repeatedly to create vibrations that resonated with the cosmos, aligning the individual with universal energy. Similarly, affirmations can be seen as modern mantras, a way of reprogramming the mind and transforming our reality through spoken words. Every word you speak carries a vibration, a frequency that impacts your subconscious and the world around you. When you repeat an affirmation, whether out loud or in thought, that repetition begins to shape your mind in the same way that drops of water, falling consistently, can carve a stone. The science of sound tells us that the vibration of words can even influence physical matter. So why not use this power consciously? Think of it as rewriting mental code. If your mind is a computer, many of us are running old programs, perhaps from childhood, from negative experiences, or from limiting beliefs inherited from society. Affirmations are like a new line of code that tells the mind, now we are going in a new direction. Now we choose higher beliefs. When we repeat positive affirmations, We are training our mind to accept new truths, truths that empower us rather than limit us. For example, by saying, "I am worthy of love and success," you are reprogramming the belief that love or success is inaccessible to you. Just like ancient mantras, the strength lies in repetition. When you repeat something consistently, your subconscious begins to believe it, even if at first it seems distant from your current reality. But there's more. In addition to using affirmations to reprogram the mind, they have an energetic impact. The ancients knew that words carry their own vibration. The sound, the intention, and the repetition create an energy that reverberates in the subconscious, and some traditions say even in the cosmos. In spirituality, the power of words is considered sacred. It is the primordial sound that gave rise to the universe. Do you want a practical example? Think of the mantras used in Hinduism, such as Om, which represents the primordial sound of creation, or the Tibetan chants, used to elevate the mind to higher states of consciousness. Just as these sacred mantras have the power to transform the mind, your daily affirmations can transform your life. By speaking with intention and focus, you rewrite your own story. So I ask, what words have you been using to describe your reality? Are they words of empowerment or limitation? Remember, every word you speak is helping to build or dismantle the world around you. The mind, like the body, needs rest and silence to regenerate. In a world that constantly bombards us with stimuli, worries, and noise, meditation is the silent sanctuary where we find peace. Ancient philosophies like Zen, Buddhism, and Hinduism have always taught that to transform the mind, we must first silence it. It is in stillness that we discover our true nature, a space beyond thoughts, limiting beliefs, and the ego. Imagine the mind as a lake. When it is agitated, full of thoughts and worries, the surface of the lake becomes cloudy and tumultuous. We cannot see what lies beneath. But when we calm the mind, just like the water of a lake on a calm day, everything becomes clear. We can see our essence, our true self, without the distortions of fear, doubt, or negative beliefs. This is the power of meditation, allowing the mind to quiet so that we can see who we truly are. The inner journey of meditation is a process of reconnecting with our divine essence. Every time we meditate, we access a state of deep connection with something greater, an energy that transcends the physical world. It is the space where we can deactivate destructive thought patterns and reconnect with our higher self. In meditation, we transcend the boundaries of the ego and touch the infinite. It is there that we discover we are more than bodies, more than our experiences, and more than our beliefs. However, meditating is not simply emptying the mind, as many think. It is, in fact, witnessing the mind, observing the thoughts that arise without clinging to them, without judgment. By doing this, we gradually distance ourselves from the negative patterns that keep us trapped and begin to find a space of inner freedom. Meditation teaches us to be present, to not react automatically to the stimuli of the external world, but to observe, reflect, and consciously choose how we want to live. If you've never meditated before, here's a simple practice to try now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and bring your attention to the center of your body. Imagine that with each inhale, you are bringing light and calm into your being. And with each exhale, you are releasing tension and thoughts that no longer serve you. Let your mind rest in this cycle of breath. As thoughts arise, and they will, observe them like clouds in the sky, letting them pass without attachment. Meditation, this practice of diving inward, is a transformative process. Every time we allow ourselves to stop and connect with our true essence, we begin to see life with new eyes. Mental and emotional agitation starts to dissipate, and we find peace, clarity, and purpose. It is through this sacred space that we can truly transform our beliefs and create a reality aligned with who we truly are. So, I ask, how often are you connecting with yourself through meditation? An unsettled mind creates storms, but in stillness, you rediscover your own power. Fear and doubt are deeply human emotions. All of us, at some point, find ourselves paralyzed by the fear of the unknown or by doubts about our own abilities. These emotions, though natural, can become barriers that prevent us from growing and reaching our true potential. But what many don't realize is that fear is not the enemy. In fact, fear is an invitation to grow. Philosophers like Seneca in Stoicism and spiritual masters of Taoism have taught us that fear is not the opposite of faith. On the contrary, it is part of the spiritual evolution journey. Fear arises whenever we are about to cross an important threshold in our lives. It's like a guardian at the door of a new stage of consciousness. It tests us, challenges us to trust, not only in the universe but also in ourselves. Doubt, on the other hand, is the voice of the ego which fears losing control. The ego prefers the comfort of the known, even if the known is limiting because it dreads the unpredictable. However, true spiritual strength lies not in controlling every aspect of life but in embracing the flow, in trusting that even in uncertainties, the universe conspires in our favor. Imagine a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. The process of breaking through that barrier, of struggling to open its wings, is what strengthens its body so that it can fly. If the butterfly were removed from the chrysalis by another force, without going through that struggle, its wings would not have the strength needed for flight. In the same way, overcoming fear and doubt is essential for our transformation. Without these moments of challenge, we don't develop the inner strength needed to navigate life's ups and downs. In Taoism, there is an important concept called Wu Wei, which means action without effort. It's not about inaction but about not fighting against the natural flow of life. When we try to control everything, we resist what life is offering us. This creates tension, anxiety, and more fear. But when we practice detachment, when we let go of the need to control outcomes and trust the process, we begin to see that fear loses its power. The universe has its own rhythms, and often what seems like an obstacle is actually an opportunity in disguise. A practical example of this is when we face a significant change in life, whether it's a new job, the end of a relationship, or the need to make a difficult decision. Doubt arises, and the fear of making a mistake paralyzes us. But when we learn to detach from the outcome, accepting whatever comes with an open attitude, we transform fear into fuel for growth. If you're going through a moment of fear or doubt right now, know that it's part of your evolution. Spiritual growth happens when we decide not to back away from these challenges but instead embrace the unknown with confidence. You don't need to know exactly how everything will unfold. Your only mission is to take the next step, even if it's small, with faith. So, instead of asking, "What if it doesn't work out?" ask yourself, "What if it does? What's on the other side of this fear? What doors can you open by crossing this barrier?" Trust that fear is just a necessary part of the journey, and by overcoming it, you will find a new inner strength. Modern science, especially quantum physics, is increasingly revealing something that many spiritual traditions have always known: the observer alters reality. This idea, which initially seems abstract, is incredibly powerful. When we begin to understand that what we focus on, think, and believe influences the world around us, we realize how much our consciousness is a creative force. Quantum physics shows us that at the subatomic level, particles do not have a defined position until they are observed. This means that the very presence of the mind, the simple act of observing, affects how these particles behave. To put it simply, reality responds to what you observe and how you observe it. This is not just a scientific curiosity, it's a key to understanding how much your thoughts shape your life. In the spiritual field, this is something deeply understood. Quantum consciousness is the idea that everything is interconnected, that the universe responds to your energy, and that your mind co-creates your experience. When you change your internal perspective, the external world begins to reflect those changes. If you believe the world is a place of scarcity, you will see evidence of that everywhere. But if you start to train your mind to perceive abundance and possibility, you will begin to attract experiences that correspond to this new reality. It's like adjusting the focus of a camera. When you change the angle and clarity, what was out of focus is revealed. Reality works the same way. Consciousness is the focus, and the reality around you is the scene that responds to that direction. What does this mean for your daily life? It means that you have the power to consciously choose your thoughts, and by doing so, you can transform what you experience. Think of it as a mental garden. If you continually focus on what is wrong, on what's missing, and on worries, you are cultivating fertile soil for fear, doubt, and limitation. But if you start observing your thoughts and cultivating those that promote growth, love, and faith, that inner garden will flourish. The practice of mindfulness, which is so central to meditation, teaches exactly that: to observe your thoughts without judgment. When you do this, you realize how the mind is often filled with patterns of limiting beliefs that have accumulated over time. By observing these thoughts and starting to question them, you gradually take control over what you are creating in your life. If we observe our lives closely, we will see that we are not just passive spectators but active creators. What we think about ourselves, the world, and others has a direct impact on our experiences. When you adjust your inner gaze, When you start observing your thoughts and beliefs and consciously choose those aligned with what you want to create, the universe begins to respond to that new alignment. Imagine that you are a painter in front of a blank canvas. Every thought, every belief, every intention you project is a brushstroke on that canvas. If you focus on creating a work of art filled with hope, trust, and growth, that will be the image that is revealed. Life responds to your gaze. So I ask, what are you observing in your life right now? What are you choosing to focus on? Remember, at every moment you can adjust the focus of your mind, and by doing so, transform your reality. Now that we've traveled this journey of self-knowledge, understanding, and transformation, we arrive at a crucial point. You are the creator of your own reality. Everything we've discussed, from the power of the mind limiting beliefs, the strength of visualization, to the influence of quantum consciousness, leads us to this essential truth. The limitless potential that resides within you is just waiting to be awakened. And the good news is the time to act is now. Often we are led to believe that our external circumstances, our past, or the limitations around us determine who we are and what we can achieve. But that is only a small part of the story. The power of transformation is not out there, but here within you, in your mind and in your heart. When you awaken to this truth, you realize that life is like a blank page, and each of your thoughts is a brushstroke on the canvas of your destiny. Imagine a seed buried in the soil. Within it lies infinite potential to become a towering tree, to bloom, bear fruit, and provide shade. However, for that seed to become a tree, it needs the right conditions: water, light, and fertile soil. In the same way, you already have within you all the seeds of success, happiness, and fulfillment. What you need to do is cultivate the right environment, nurturing your mind with thoughts of faith, gratitude, and abundance, and removing the weeds of negative beliefs and fears that suffocate that growth. Life is a process of co-creation with the universe. The more you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with what you desire to manifest, the faster you will see these changes happen. But that alignment begins internally. When you truly believe that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of an extraordinary life, the universe responds to that call. But like any journey, there will be challenges. There will be moments when doubts arise, when fear tries to take control. These are just tests. They are opportunities to reaffirm your faith, to remember that you are the author of this story and that you have the power to rewrite it at any moment. So, here is the invitation: become aware of the power that already exists within you. Stop searching outside for what you already have inside. Decide, from this moment on, that you are the creator of your reality and that this reality can be as vast and limitless as your imagination allows. Every transformation begins with a single thought, and that thought, when nurtured, becomes a new pattern of belief, which turns into new action, which in turn creates a new life. Now, visualize the future you desire. Don't just think about it, feel it. Feel what it will be like to live that reality, how it will fill you with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. With every thought, with every breath, you are planting the seeds of that future. The universe, this infinite energy that surrounds us, is ready to respond. But it can only respond to what you are willing to believe and create. Remember, the power is in your hands. Finally, I leave you with a reflection. What are you willing to create today? What steps are you ready to take toward your unlimited potential? The journey to a full and fulfilled life begins now, with the decision that you can, and will, manifest your dreams. If this message resonated with you and awakened something deep within your soul, like this video, share it with those you love, and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving transformative content. Together, we can create a reality where everyone awakens to their true power. Let's do this together.